Well, what we have here is a 200X Honda ATC front caliper that we're going to rebuild. So let's tear this apart and bend these tabs back. 101 uses for this little tiny hammer. Just get them started. And then you can pry them. You get the idea. Impact. Make sure it's on reverse. Now this is all Honda stuff, so I don't want to throw them away, even though these rebuild kits have these. That's all Honda, and I'm going to definitely keep that. These are probably original pads. Not many of these ATCs that I'm coming across have gone through the front brake pads. And there's plenty of brake pad left on here, so I haven't ordered any parts yet because I don't know what I'm going to need. Now this slides freely, so that means that these aren't all rusted out. It's a good sign. Now, I've got a grease zerk. Let's see if I can get it in there. And I'm only going to be able to get a couple threads. This is just like the front or the... now this is going to be an issue. I'm going to probably need a straight one. Yep, I'm going to need a straight one. This bend isn't going to work. And this one will probably work better. You're only going to get a couple threads on there. And that's all it's going to take, I think. Just all depends on how rusted up that piston is. So what we're going to do here, and a grease gun. And pop that on. And let's see if we can get that piston to come out. More's coming out the side of it then. There we go. See the piston coming out of there? Yeah, it keeps on coming. Come on, baby. There you are. So that worked out real well. Give it a little bit more here. Yeah, it just doesn't want to. I'll get that out of there. You can see it's a little sideways, so we'll get it centered and get that out of there, clean all this up. Sorry for that big delay. Now, something I pointed out before, but I use a lot of paper towels. It saves my regular towels from getting so much grease on them that I can't run them through the washing machine without thinking I'm going to gum stuff up. So I keep my towels pretty clean. There's going to be a lot of grease in here. And there it is. All that grease in there, but actually, this will clean up no problem. What you don't want is really, really heavy pitting that the seal may not be able to keep brake fluid from passing by with a lot of corrosion. So we'll clean all this up. I'm going to clean this whole piece up here, and then we'll come back. And look at that. That just came out in one glob because the brake fluid was in there. Kind of let it release. Okay, a little bit of PB Blaster and a lot of oomph. And we'll get this pin out. That's how we get that is how we get this piece off, I assume. And behind this rubber cap, there's an Allen to get this shaft off. And I want to completely disassemble it, so we're going to do that. And there again, these things are on there so tight from being on there forever. As you can see, there we go. And now, should be able to get this. There's a washer there. I want to memorialize how this goes. So there's a washer. And I might have to go back and look at my video. So we'll get that. We'll pull this out. I believe the rebuild kit comes with this rubber boot here. All right, I put it back together so I could get this orientation right. This is a split washer or lock washer. And there's a washer here, which I believe is a flat washer. And I know this is correct because that would be the bumper. And there you have it. And then that's how it mounts onto the front end. And it comes out through the front here. And it wasn't easy to get out. I believe the rubber was holding it up. So anyhow, there's that part. So we're getting down to it. Really, I think just this bleeder, and then I can wash this thing up. Here is the kit that I ordered. Now I did everything I could. There's really not much in OEM that's available. There's a couple of rubber pieces. There's the seal. There is, I believe, this rubber piece. But, you know, I'm going to take this kit here, and then I'm going to add to that kit this OEM seal, because the seal is really the biggest part. So, got to wait for all that to come, but we'll clean everything up in the meantime. The parts are in, so let's put this back together. This is the original OEM stuff that I plated. So I'm not going to use the Chinese stuff, even though they look great. But as you can see on the end, they don't have the Honda little logo. As you see here, this one's got the, you know, it's like an 8, 2 circles, whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to use the original stuff there, so we'll put those things aside. And I've got a couple of things here. I'm going to use this rubber boot on the OEM. There we are. Put that one aside. I've got this in another spot. And here that is, and you can see it is not the same, but I'm going to use the rubber seal. So from here, the first thing is to put in the Honda main seal, and then I'm going to use the aftermarket, just a little dust seal. And I'm just using a little pick to get that out. You can see a little bit of cleaning is going to be needed in here. This is got a little bit of gunk and corrosion. So we'll clean both of these up when we get both of the seals out. And just using a pick, get that out. So now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to clean this up as well as I can. I may get in there with like a rotary brush. Really want to get that clean so it seals, and it isn't, if it keeps itself from seating, then it'll be a bear to get that piston in. So I want to get all that out of there. I got it clean, and I've got these somewhat flexible wheels, and they're good for polishing up the surface in there where there might be some corrosion, but I was able to get in there and do this. And then I also took a polishing wheel. I probably should have used a clean one. But anyway, I've got it cleaned up in there. And it's kind of hard to see probably. But most of the corrosion's out, and especially the larger seal, the main seal. I've got that really clean in there. And then I have to go back and clean everything up again. You need it absolutely clean. And then I clean the towel, and now we're back to getting it back together. A little trick I learned from, I can't remember who, but when you open up anything, brake fluid, oil, just poke a little hole in the silver cap there. That way you can kind of, do a drop or two instead of just having it pour out. Now, because I'm really going for the total rebuild here, and I'm going for, the original look. I want this to look like it's never been opened. And that's not exactly going to be 100%, but if I'm going to get brake fluid on this black paint here, then I'm going to end up painting this, and it never comes out as well as this is right here. When I clean this up and put some go-go juice on it, this is going to look, it's going to look perfect, as if it sat in the garage under a tarp for 47 years. So what I've got to do is I've got to lube up the seals without getting a bunch of stuff on here. And if I do get it, then I'm going to immediately get the brake fluid off of it. So here we go. This is the main seal. I'm just using a little bit of brake fluid and some paper towels. Keeping it off my fingers so that when I grab the housing, I'm not. And then this just goes in and falls into that groove. And there again, got it on my fingers now. Get it off of there. Be very sparing. And it just falls in there. Then you give it a little lubrication. Be very careful not to put that brake fluid on that black paint. Got that seal's ready to go in. Chico says I'm way too anal. Chico don't know nothing. He's just a parts manager. How hard is it to order parts? Okay, so very simple but tedious. There it is. Both seals are in. So now I'll clean my hands. I'll probably even wash them. And we'll keep this because we're probably going to use it for lubricating the piston. All right, got the piston here. And we're just going to see just how hard this is going to be going in with these new seals. Right down through the bottom here. Now it looks like it passed through the first seal fairly easily. And there it is. Piece of cake. Alright, the piston's in. Now we're going to put the brackets back together. Well, well, well. You know, wouldn't you have... I didn't put in the Honda one. I put in the aftermarket, so I am going to... I had to take the piston out. I used a little compressed air down through the bleeder and held the... basically, I held my finger over this where the banjo bolt goes, and then I put my little small... and it popped it right out. So... now we'll put in the OEM Honda stuff. And we got that in. A little lubrication. So let's put the piston back in. Make sure nothing fell in there. Make sure there's no brake fluid anywhere. Yeah, even on my fingers. And a little bit of brake fluid on the piston this time. Something tells me it's going to be a little tougher to get in with the OEM. It seemed a little too easy to me, but it could be the same. It could be, no, same. So I bet that aftermarket seal would have worked just fine. But OEM, OEM, OEM. Oh my gosh, OEM. Next, we're going to put the anti-rattle shield in. Easier said than done. But it'll go. And that's in there. Now I installed the rubber boot. It goes on this piston, but it's got to go in first. And then this is obviously to hold grease. So we're going to lube this up good before we send it home. Hopefully we'll be able to, there we go, yep. I'm going to put a little bit of oil on this just to get it to slide in that seal a little better. And see if that works. Yep. So that's going through there like so. And you'll be able to get some threads on that bracket. but we'll just have to see how that works. Now this, well, just enough to get it to go through here. Get it started, and I'll probably be able to push it through with a screwdriver without poking a hole in the end of it. There we go. Okay, so we got that, and we'll, of course, we need to put a little bit of lube on this so it slides. Basically, it's gonna have to move like so, and there's a little seal on it, so I think I'll just pop a little bit of grease in there, and I'm just going to use this. It's no big deal. We're just doing a little bit, and I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to put a little in the boot itself and then slide the pin in. I just used a little pick and I just loaded a little in there. And there we go. Just the boot itself makes it want to return. And so I'm going to do a little bit of that with this. All right, so cooked it up a little bit in there. And then I'm going to make sure I've got some in this groove. That groove is meant to hold excess grease so that there's always a little bit of grease in there. I don't want to overdo it, because brake pads and grease don't mix. Okay, so I'm going to probably just take a straight edge and take off the excess. There we go. So let's put this home. Again, I want to keep everything super clean, so there we go. The outer. So let's see how hard it's going to be to get that bracket on. All right, after fiddling, I believe I've got this seal seated. And I've got it seated on, you can see it here. I've got it seated around here. Got all the grease off. Got a lot of fiddling. So now we're ready to put the bracket on. So I would say that this conical seal would go like so. And then our little OEM and we would probably be looking at that. That could be our bracket. These two don't line up. These two don't line up. These are the only two that line up, so it couldn't go this way, so it's just got to go this way. So let's get it started. and I'll get this one started. We'll tighten those up. There it is, all tightened up. I'm going to wait to put that cap on till I get the rest of the parts together. I went ahead and put it on just so I don't get any grease all over everything. Alright, and lay one brake pad there. They are unidirectional, so not a problem. As you see, no difference. That one there, and that one there. Get our nice OEM. And one thing I want to make sure of is that, well, it can only go on one way. I don't want this to be on backwards. I'll have to look. Okay, so the microfiche shows that these tabs right here face down, facing down to the pad. Let's see if these all line up. Allow me to tighten them. There's a little resistance because of the little spring plate that's down in here, and that's what it's designed to do. Give it just a little tension. You can see these have a little tension in them. They don't rattle. That's nice. Brake pad. So we've got a little gap there. And we are close to being done. So this was 14 to 18 foot-pounds behind this cap. So I figure 14 is probably going to be good on this. We'll torque that. You can hold it. That's probably good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, they're right at that anyway. There we go. Okay. Look at that. Now, I've just temporarily installed these. I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up. Just snug. A little dust cap on it. And magically, we have a brand new looking caliper. So there it is. There's the finished caliper. With all the plating and the rebuild parts. Be very, very nice looking on your ATC 200X.